I began quite early. I had a graphic design scholarship. I did 4 years learning graphic design for print, essentially. And then when I left school, I met two directors who worked in animation. It was in the mid-90s, and it was just the beginning of motion design. We didn't call it motion design at the time, but it was the first version of After Effects. And I started working with them, learning After Effects and animation at the same time. And they were used to all the animation techniques, frame by frame, using 35 millimeters film. And when they realized that they could do much more using computers and Photoshop and softwares like After Effects, they get into it. So I learned a lot of animation with them, and I had my graphic design background, so I had a lot of pleasure mixing these techniques, and doing animation was for me a great way to mix rhythm and graphic. So I went into this. I worked with them as a freelancer for a few years. We worked on music videos or advertising. And by the side, I started working on my own, and I started doing my first opening credits for short movies for friends, and then credits for TV. And it's been more than 20 years that I'm working as a freelancer, mixing all kind of techniques and playing with rhythm, type, different materials, different techniques, stop motion, shooting, all kind of stuff. La Brigade du Titre is a name we found with the guy who I'm working with since like 15 years, Mathieu de Carly. After a few years working together, we choose to join our forces and to choose a name behind which we could work, especially for cinema and opening credits. But we do much more than this. We do a lot for documentaries, motion design for documentaries or animation series. And why we choose the name Brigade du Titre, it's because it was a way to show that the field of opening credits in cinema was for us something very important, and it's a field where we can mix a lot of different styles, techniques, and reinvent every time new directions for our work. With Mathieu, we often work as a duo, but we have also our own projects. But working with somebody is always more comfortable because even when you're with your own project, to have somebody to discuss with, to show things, and show directions and have an external advice is always a good thing. And when we work as a duo, it's always bigger than the sum of the two of us, because there's always an emulation, and sometimes somebody's a little bit weaker and the other one takes the advantage and brings the other one up. And above all, it's he's a wonderful guy to work with. There's no tension, and we always work in a very smooth way, and we laugh a lot. So that's very pleasant to work as a duo. The purpose of title sequence is to get into a movie. So you have to stay humble when you work on title sequence, because you only do like a 1 minute sequence to open a movie that will last 90 minutes. And the purpose is just to get a mood, get the right pace for the audience to get into the movie. And it can be funny to put some little details and little things that will appear clearly to the audience as they watch the movie. Another purpose is to bring up from the names of all the people that made actually the movie. And for some directors, it's very important to give a nice place for these names. And it's a way to thank people and bring that up front. And so it's like a paperwork for a gift, you know. It's something that you can forget, but it's the first impression you have, and it's quite important. There aren't such difference, but in the facts, since a few years, in a lot of titles for TV are made for TV series, and it's getting a little bit different because it's meant to be seen a lot of times. So sometimes it can be quite a long sequence, but you have to take care not to annoy people. So you have to be very clever and let things be understandable the more you watch it. Or another solution is to be very short, and it can be like just an animated logo that can have a real impact. So it's quite different, in fact. But for cinema, it's quite different. You cannot skip the intro in the movies, and but the aim is the same. It's just to put the right mood for the audience to get into the story, and that's all. It's very hard to analyze it because it's very different. Each project is really different. The directors are very different from the way they work. A lot of the inspiration comes from the movie itself, but also from the music. the music plays a great part for the inspiration of the work, because it gives sometimes the right mood and you have to deal with it. In the making process, it's different each time. Sometimes you have a first idea that is the right one, but you don't know it yet. You think it's the right one, but you have to search for something else to see if the first idea is really the good one. And sometimes you just look for a lot of different solutions, and it's the discussion with the director that can narrow the choices, and then you find the right solution. But we explore each time different ways. We try to find the right technique to fit with the project, and we never close any door. So we can try stop motion, 3D shooting, and we do tests, and we try things, and then things get more and more precise. The style and the techniques for each project to fit the project. That's why it's so funny to work in with opening credits, because each project can lead you to a different technique depending on the subject and on the aim of your title. So we can think about stop motion, or we can think about animation, or slow motion. Each time it's a way to explore different techniques, and we like to explore things that we don't know yet. So we don't put any boundaries to our work. We can test different stuff and try to mix things. The aim is to fit the mood of the project. So we don't do only animation or only graphic motion design, or we mix things together just to have different moods, and it's a very large palette of techniques that we can mix each time. So we have to reinvent the way we work, and it's much more pleasant to work this way, because you don't do twice the same thing. And that's what people who are working with us have understood, is just they come to us and they say, okay, we like this, it's okay, but show me something different, or what are you gonna do for this project? Working with type is one of my favorite things in this job. I love type since a very long time, and it's a world in itself. So choosing the right font to work with is a challenge each time, and sometimes we design our own typeface for a special purpose. And now there are a lot of tools to do this quite easily, so it's a pleasure. And very few directors have conscience of typography, and they are quite lost. They think they are just like Helvetica and Times New Roman and a few more Comic Sans, and they don't know much more. And we have an approach where we try to get them to something that has some meaning about the subject of the movie. And each time we try to show them the differences and what a good type can bring to their subject for emotional part, or something that you cannot name, but you feel comfortable with one type and not with another for many reasons. And it's quite a vast world, and that's very interesting to dive into it. Stop motion, yeah, we did a few animation series in stop motion, and stop motion is really, really funny to do. It's very hard work, quite artistic work, because you have to take a lot of time to make very short sequences. But it's really funny. You're like a kind of magician when you play with objects, and you transform them, you make them move, you make them do everything you want. You can mix techniques here too. You can take toys or paper cuts or anything, and I think people like stop motion because it seems quite simple, and sometimes you can figure that you can do the same at home, and that's quite true. And it's a nice field of experimentation too. There is a lot of you can play with rhythm and different aspects of animation, but as it's concrete, so you're not behind a computer only. You have to play with things, lights, and to manipulate. So it's very different as a work behind a computer, and it's quite funny, yeah. It's different each time. Sometimes you just let it go because you try to fight, but you lose your energy, and in front of you, you have somebody that can be close-minded and just want this. I want blue. Okay, well, I try to show you a lot of different things, but if you want blue, I won't fight anymore because it's too much energy. And sometimes you can discuss, and you can show them different ways and bring them to change their opinions. But it's quite different if you're in the cinema or in the TV. In cinema, not as many people are involved. Usually you work with the director and the editor. In the TV work, you have a lot of more people to deal with. You have the directors, you have the producers that often put their nose in the stuff, and the guys from the TV that has an opinion, and you have to deal with all these opinions. And sometimes the best way is to be straight and firm with your own proposals, and sometimes you just let go and do the work they ask you because it's too much. I have many favorite projects because a lot of them have been different, and every each project where we could test new techniques, where we could experiment things, where we had a real creative relation with the directors. These are my preferred ones, because when you work for somebody whose aim is to get further and to bring the best for the project, it brings you out of your own boundaries, and these are the best projects each time. Sure, but I cannot say now what I'd like to experiment because it will come when the idea will come. And I have a lot of ideas that I keep on the side, and I'm waiting to get the right project that could fit. But I think half of the things I will do, I don't know them yet. Maybe more into the animation world and stop motion and the series, and maybe more on the writing side or telling stories. And this is maybe the part where I have a lot of experimentation for the future. I play music very badly, but I love it. I love to put things together, making lamps or sculptures with crap, old stuff, and also I'm a beekeeper, and I have a few hives in Paris, and with friends we take care of bees, and that's a very nice hobby. I try to spend sometimes for my side projects, but it's quite complicated. There are a lot of, and I would love the days to have 48 hours. Be curious, open your eyes, watch everything you can, and have a wide perception of your work. If you work in the title sequence, do not only learn from title sequence. You have to mix your own culture and be creative. And to be creative, you have to have an open mind, and so you can be inspired by everything that you see, you hear, and that is not only in your own field. Thank you, Motion Plus Design, and thank you, Cook, for this beautiful event that bring the lights on a profession that is that has to be known, because we live in a world of image, and a lot of these images has to be made, and Motion Plus Design shows a wide variety of really nice creators, and a lot of nice stuff. It's very inspiring.